Hi, it's Christelle. Just doing an update video. It's been so long since I posted. I think the last time was like my birthday in February, and I was doing really well. And then I watched it was like a seminar online, and it was about addiction. And the guy said, some people can have just one day where they'll have something and then they can just get back on it. And obviously, that's not me, but I thought at the time, oh, maybe that would work for me. So I had something that was off plan and it just sort of spiraled from there. And I haven't been able to fully get back on since then. A lot has happened in the last 5 months, and I'm not saying that I'm not telling you this as an excuse, because there's no excuse. Obviously, if I wanted to do this, I could have found a way to do it. But I was working. I got my first job since having my child 5 years ago. She's 5.5 now. And so getting back into the workforce in the beginning of the year, and I was working part-time at a local shop, and the lady was looking to sell the business, and my husband was like, why don't you see if we should buy it, and one thing led to another, and we ended up getting this sorry, I just rocked that. We ended up buying the business, and I've been running the shop for the last 3 months by myself. My husband still has a full-time job, and looking after my daughter and looking after the house. And I tried to be compliant in the beginning, and it was stressing me out. And the days that I was trying to organize suppliers and orders and get the shop sorted, to get my head around working again after so long and running a business for the first time in my life, running a shop, managing staff, it's just been completely full on. And I just let it go. I just said to myself, I will pick this up when I have got to a point where I'm not stressed out about the business, and I have my systems in order, and I can manage the business and then give myself time to be able to cook and prep food. So I'm kind of at that point now, 3 months in. It's still difficult, but I feel like I could give the time over to being able to do the plan properly. Another thing I think is because I don't like committing to something 100% and saying it's going to be forever, but in my mind I felt like if I started this plan, it was going to have to be forever, 100%. I was never going to be able to do anything else, because I'm a food addict, and I'll do this for the rest of my life. I'll never be able to go out, never be able to have fun with my friends. And I was really putting like a negative spin on it. But in my mind now, I've just changed it a little bit. So I'm going to do 3 months. And I feel like that's easier for me. I know it's just a mind game, but it's easier for me to think about being able to do 3 months. And then I have the ability to decide whether I want to go back to what I was doing, or tweak it a little bit, change things. So that works for me. What else? So, oh yeah, living with an addict is another thing that I wanted to talk about, because one of the main things about succeeding on a plan like this is to have a clean environment. And that's easier said than done when the person that you're living with is also a food addict, and that becomes a problem when they respect you. Like my husband, he respects me. Of course he does. When I was doing this properly, he never brought anything bad into the house. He never talked to me about it. He would eat stuff in his car on his way to work, and it made it really easy for me. The house was always compliant. Everything in the fridge was what I could eat, and it definitely made life so much easier. I don't think anyone could do it. Well, I guess there's certain people that can, but it's really a lot harder to do it when there is food in the house that tempts you. And especially if you're stressed, like you get like frontal lobe fatigue, where you can't make the decision to make a right choice. It becomes a lot harder, especially if you don't have meals prepared, and things get a little bit harder. So he was really good, but the problem with him, and I'm sure a lot of people would have found this if they're living with other addicts and they're trying to be compliant, is that if they see any sort of like a shaky resolve, like a crack in your determination, they will use that to bring in whatever they can into the house. So my husband would sort of test the waters a little bit, and if he saw that I was a bit shaky and I gave in to something, it just created a floodgate. It wouldn't just be like one bag of chips or one lolly or whatever. He would go and then go into the shops and would buy whatever he wanted to bring it into the house, and then it would also open up the hinting, like every day, just like, oh, what's happening today? Are you 100% today? And then for me, I found the hinting really hard. So as soon as he would hint, my brain would start thinking about what I could have. Oh, maybe one more day. And it is a real mind game. And anybody who is a food addict will understand that it's consuming. And I've talked to a couple of friends who are not food addicts, and they just don't understand, and I try to explain it to them. It's like an itch that you have to scratch, and it's really like overwhelming, and it's the only thing that's in your mind. All you think about is the food that you want, the food that you can't have, how it would taste, how you're going to get it, and like you plan your day around being able to go out and get what you want. And it's a really awful, trapped feeling of being addicted to food. And it's, yeah, my friend was telling me, like, she just eats food to live. Like, she doesn't think about it. Her family can eat whatever they like in front of her, and doesn't bother her at all. And I was like, man, that would be so that would be so good if I could get to that point. But I have felt that before when I am on this plan for over 3 weeks. It's like that nagging feeling to want the foods that are high in salt and fat and sugar. That sort of dissipates and it goes away, and you feel like free. It's really good. So I'm trying to remember that that's the feeling that I want, and it's about getting food through that first few weeks, and then you kind of get on a roll and nothing can stop you. Although it's bad to think nothing can stop you, because obviously it stopped me quite a few times. There's things that come up, but it's those tests that I have to try and get past. So I've got myself my calendar's printed out 3 months worth, and I'm just going to cross off the days every day and just make it a really big goal, and it's going to be in the front of my mind. And I've got my vision board up, my husband's on board, so August, September, October, it's going to be 100%, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's enough talking for now. I just wanted to do a little quick update. So that's where I'm at. It's not the success story that I wanted to have 5 months in. It would have been nice to have 5 months of being on track, but it is what it is. And the next 3 months, I will be posting more often. I'm not going to let it go for 5 months without this. It's just a journal. I'm not perfect. I can't be a perfect person. I can't wait till I'm perfect to post. I'm just going to do what I can and just let you know how it goes. All right. See you guys later. Bye.